He shoots, he scores for another On the Bench with Beeks episode. Second one this week. This one's number 20. I am your host from coast to coast, Cody Beekman. I am always joined with Dirty in the Sheets, Keith Sanders.
Hello. I try to be clean, but how's it going, everyone?
And we've got Ross Ain't Got No Moss, Moormeyer.
And hey, how you guys doing? And no, I don't.
And then we've got Daniel Never Lady Beatty.
That's right. You ladies know I'm never early.
Oh, absolutely. And today we are joined by a very special guest. We've got Mike Freeman. Mike, say hello to everybody out there.
Hey, guys. I got to just say, so honored and privileged to be here with you guys. I've been watching this thing grow. And, man, what a joy it is to be here with you guys.
Well, thank you so much for saying that, man. We really like what we do, and you know it's good seeing everybody really listen in, and you know I like seeing those listens go up every week, and hopefully it continues. So this week we've got a jam-packed episode, just like I said in 19. We've got straight today we've actually got a Seattle name for the 32nd franchise in NHL history. We've got a hullabaloo with Jeremy Roenick.
Oh God, bring
That's
it.
going to be fun
Just
to get
bring
into. And boys, don't worry. Daniel and we saved a little extra meat from the NHL award finalists. We're going to be talking about the Calder Trophy, the very last one we really want to talk about. So we're going to get into it with Hockey Day in History. And as you may know, Mike, our newcomers always do the honors first. So you got a Hockey Day in History for us there, bud?
I do. I have one from July 23rd, 1957.
Taking it back.
Taking it back to the 50s. And what I love about this one is, in one of the biggest trades, Detroit traded Ted Lindsay and Glenn Hall to Chicago in exchange for four guys: Johnny Wilson, Hank Basson, Forbes Kennedy, and Bob Preston. And you think about that, like if you're a guy that's traded for two other guys, that's got to like any kind of trade where it's like, hey, I'm worth both of you, or I'm worth all four of you. Right?
Oh, easily.
That's got to feel good.
Well,
right? That's gotta pump your party.
Well, and at that time, it was probably a blockbuster trade there, boys.
Oh,
like
definitely.
just for the
Truly.
Yeah.
Did they
just for
have
them.
blockbuster movies back then, or
No,
No,
no.
it was probably more like
The silent
Cinescope
song
or
and
something.
dance or something.
Cinescope. It's the Cinescope trade. But I mean,
Betamax.
it is. I mean, think about this. I mean, back in if NHL Network was like alive back then, this would have been on for at least 2 weeks. I mean, everybody would have been talking about this trade.
Easily.
Ted Lindsay and Glenn Hall, huge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, like when you say it's one of the biggest trades to go down, you ain't kidding.
Oh no, I mean it's just Ted Lindsay and Glenn Hall. They had a big part of that whole Detroit organization.
he was terrible Ted, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
terrible Ted.
Yeah.
but
absolutely.
that was such a huge part of that whole Detroit hockey scene.
Yeah.
Both of those
Oh,
guys.
Glenn too. Yeah, Glenn Hall as well. So nice Hockey Day in history.
Yeah,
I
thank
like
you.
that. All right, Never Lady Beatty. Let's see if you're on time with this one.
So, because we'll be at Dog Bowl next week and not necessarily doing an episode on the 30th, I'm just using my Hockey Day in History as if it's next week because it's a cool one. So in 2005, on July 30th, we had the NHL entry draft that saw some pretty big names in it. We're talking, this is the one with Sidney Crosby going number one.
go down the line. I
That's
just
right.
want to relive
And
this.
it's pretty cool. We got Sidney Crosby winning a few Hart trophies. Then we got Bobby Ryan with a few trips to rehab. Jack Johnson with a few albums coming out.
Yeah.
Benoit Pouliot with a few cups with Sidney there.
Absolute.
Carey Price.
Carey P, man.
Oh my gosh. And then it gets a little different. We got Gilbert Brule, Jack Skilly, Devin Setaguchi, Brian Lee at number 9 for Ottawa. And the one I want to touch on real quick is Luc Bourdon at number 10 because he got drafted by the Canucks and he didn't really get to play too long for them. in the system because he died in a motorcycle accident.
Rest
Oh,
in peace,
wow.
Bardon.
And
Wow.
he was really big friends with Alexander Burrows.
Okay.
So
Oh, that guy.
there's this period of time during the 2005-2006 season. If you watch Burrows score a lot of goals, his goal celebration was Luc Bourdon's goal celebration.
Oh, wow,
As
that's
a way
cool.
of kind of paying homage
A
to what kind of
remembrance
ended up
to him,
happening the
yeah.
next year after he perished in that accident. So
Oh, quite
cool.
on
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Quite on time. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say Devin Setaguchi was an incredible grinder kind of player. I mean, Setaguchi, he didn't have the longest career either, but I mean, he made a mark for the San Jose Sharks
Definitely.
for a very long time. So that's a really good hockey day in history. Nice. What do we got, Ross?
Well, not probably our favorite player, but back in the day, finally, the Chicago Blackhawks got Bob Probert. Granted, he played for, yeah, and that was July 23rd in 1994. So, yeah.
I have a lot of mixed feelings about Bob Probert. I mean, you and I, Ross, we watched the Bob Probert documentary on Amazon.
And that led a huge
And
discussion after.
at a moment's glance, you see this guy who's just a user, a drunk, a total asshole. But you got to think at this point, with all these fights and all this rough guy material that he had, that had to make a huge stamp on his brain.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, that, and it's just kind of how, as you and I talked about, it was just sad how the NHL just almost swept it underneath the rug.
It was
The big, pink elephant in the room, but nobody wanted to address the situation properly, and that
Detroit-
was kind of sad.
Detroit and Chicago. I mean, you've got this guy. Yeah, they're writing this clause into your contract. Well, you got to go to rehab. The thing is, he spent 2-3 days at a rehab every time that was written in,
Oh yeah,
and he signed himself out. How is that possible? How is that not a red flag to these teams that he's playing for?
Well, that, and that he also had a huge problem too.
Obviously, I mean, drugs and alcohol like crazy.
Oh, that, and he wrapped, what was it, that Z28 Camaro around a pole or something.
While heading to a game.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Like,
with him, when he was getting interviewed about it, he was laughing about it. But I think in really inside of him, he was probably crying about it.
oh yeah.
After all of this.
I think he just wanted to put on a good, kind of show or face or whatever, like a facade or something like that, just for the camera. But deep down, I guarantee you that he was hurting from that whole entire thing. Just not even physically, just mentally. I mean,
Well, yeah,
jeez.
there's a lot to unwrap on that. And I think we'll probably talk about that later. Let's.
Well, I must say too, I watched the documentary too, and all in all, what a sad freaking story.
Oh, dude, I looked at Cody with tears in my eyes.
But
Seriously.
I can compare the guy. He's like the Dennis Rodman of the NHL, is what I compare him to.
he has been made out to be like a Dennis
Yeah.
Rodman.
You know what I
of the
mean?
Eating
NHL.
garlic every night to just go and breathe in the other person's face and just didn't shower for
It's
days.
just unfortunate that his life ended way
Of
sooner,
course.
and I'm sure that had a lot to do with what he was doing in his earlier days.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, it's worth a documentary to watch regardless.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely say
We should
so.
probably do something later where we talk about our favorite movies.
That's kind of what I'm thinking
There
too.
we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
One of our dog guys met Dennis Rodman, and one of the guys that's playing on my team. It'd be worth maybe pulling him up at the dog bowl and asking him about it. I'll tell you, his name's Dan Turner, and he met Dennis Rodman on one of his recent trips and spent the whole night drinking with him at a bar.
Oh God.
God, he
And
was drinking with the worm.
With the worm. And I thought, God, I started thinking to myself, man, get me in a room with Dennis Rodman. I think I could talk him into playing hockey for the dog. You know,
Easily
like the
2 shots in,
Right,
5
totally.
shots, whatever.
yeah,
it
will you
is.
come play hockey on my team, right? He'd be like, yeah, I'll do that.
I'm
Yeah, you will.
gonna go right out and say that could be a very good
Dennis,
possibility.
if you're
Right.
listening right now,
Exactly, if
did
you're
you just
listening.
hear you got an open invite for next
Exactly.
week's Dog Bowl?
That's right. Neighborhood
Yeah.
dogs, Dennis.
I mean, that guy's just a whole different story, man.
Leave the wedding dress at home, please.
It's just,
Gonna get caught in your skates, bud.
Yep.
you know that Michael Jordan documentary came out recently, and it just like reminded me of a bunch of stuff that I forgot about him, and it's just that's a whole different conversation. Where I was just like, holy shit.
Agreed. All right, Keats. Let's see what you got for Hockey Day in history.
Hey man, mine's fairly boring, guys, today. But we're gonna go to July 24th of 2001. The Colorado Avs signed free agent defenseman Todd Gill. It was just like a 1-year deal, I believe, 2000, 2001, and if I'm not mistaken, he went to Chicago for another year, and that was the end of him.
You know,
Pretty much.
it's so funny that you bring that up because my dad and I, we always have like a public enemy number one on the Avalanche team, like where we just berate incessantly. It's just all the time. And I remember Todd Gill just being one of those guys that we just love to shit on, you know. I mean, I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but you know, like almost every year you got a guy that you can just dog all the time.
Every team has one of those, you know.
Or a couple.
They come and go.
Yeah. Gilly was my my pops and I's
And he
for
was
a year.
well
And I mean, he was in a transitional phase, like just like you said, Keats. He was only here for a year.
it was right at the end of his. I think it was one of those things like maybe I can do a couple years, and that's what it kind of sounds like, you know.
Yeah,
Because he was in Toronto for most of his career, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
I couldn't throw the years or anything, but I
that
think he was there
sounded
for
right. Yeah,
quite a few seasons, and that's kind of where. That's typically what you see is with these NHL guys. You see typically a player will stay at a certain team for X amount of years. Then once the player starts getting tossed here and there, that's typically like, all right, he's about to retire phase.
yeah. Oh, it's the veteran hot potato, basically.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
I still have it in me? Let's see.
Well, I want to think so, but do other teams think so?
That too.
I think too.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to round this Hockey Day in history off with today,
Oh,
July
yeah.
23rd.
Here we go.
It's 2020, right?
Yeah,
it
still,
is.
unfortunately.
Oh, man, I tell you what.
A year never to be forgotten.
Yeah, exactly.
Mix
Man.
in the water, bud. Anyways, so today, the Seattle franchise finally laid down their nickname and put out, a bit of a jersey concept. And that leads me into our first little news bit of the day. The Seattle NHL franchise have officially named their franchise the Seattle Kraken.
Woo!
Release
I
the
thought
Kraken.
it was the Seattle Karens.
Wouldn't it be?
Oh my
Oh.
Bad hairdos with like really
If they
heavy
could
lipstick
paint
or
the
something.
helmet so it looks like the "Let
Yeah.
me talk to your manager" haircut.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah.
From like Kate Plus 8 or something like that. Yes.
Yeah, they'd be. Yeah, that's fierce right there, right?
I mean,
Can you imagine
oh.
everyone like demanding a trade every day from the general manager?
I want to.
Like,
I want to see the general manager.
Yeah, exactly.
I also want a refund as well.
You know what? All jokes aside, though, congratulations to Seattle.
Finally.
That's awesome. Finally. Obviously, the Krakens, that was kind of like talked for quite some time, and
Oh, yeah.
everyone kind of leaned. That's what it is going to end up being.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I like the jersey. One thing that I'll say is I'm a tad bit disappointed in the logo.
Oh God,
It's just-
immensely.
It they were obviously going for that clean look. It almost seems like, which I'm all with. And if you do, they kind of have the logo and they describe what everything means. You know, the S is for the
Seattle, and
Metropolitans from back in the
Yeah.
day, and like everything has its own meaning.
Yep.
But man, I was just like waiting for this huge sea monster freaking like eating a ship or something.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I was just imagining something crazy,
It's-
and it's just kind of like bleh.
It's really funny that you mentioned that because Daniel and we had a conversation right before setting up. It was the shoulder logo.
Oh yeah,
is an anchor, but
Yep.
it has the Seattle Space Needle in it.
Yes.
hit him
And-
with it.
Which that's cool.
I think
Love it.
I think it would have been really cool to combine the S and the anchor for a main logo.
Yeah.
You know,
Or kind of do the concepts that they've had online. I don't know if anybody of you.
I'm all over it.
Yeah, where they have the
I mean,
actual
come on.
like trident, and
Yeah.
then having
Yeah.
because they had tentacles going up the trident at one point, and they'd do that, and then have the Seattle Space Needle in the center of that trident. That's what I was hoping that they were kind of lean on, or as you said, like a big old sea monster or something like that.
Yeah.
Keats, that would.
The name Kraken is just kind of weird. And if you don't know what it means to other people, what the fuck is a Kraken? You know, you gotta like do some research. But it is.
Well, the chirping's going to begin between the,
It's already
the
begun.
subreddits and
Yeah.
all the Discord groups and all that. Like, oh, welcome to the crack house, and all the
Yeah.
fans are
Right.
going to be crackheads.
It's just-
and
yeah.
the goalies are going to be between the crack pipes, and
Yes.
I can,
It's just-
I
it-
can see that getting
It's
out of
just
hand.
a weird name.
it's interesting. And what do you think, Mike? What do you think about the Kraken?
You know, Ross, can you hit me again with that
What?
release?
Release the Kraken.
As soon as I heard the Kraken today, that's what I heard in my head.
Well,
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and I thought
Liam
that's
Neeson.
badass.
And
That's
you-
badass.
and you
Because I
think
hear
about-
Ross's voice in my head when I hear "Release the Kraken." That's the first thing I thought of.
Well, and when they finally decided that, not to interrupt you, Mike, but I thought of like the Pirates of the Caribbean where they hit the bottom of the ocean with that
Oh.
huge old like pillar.
Yeah,
and all
there
of a
you go.
sudden, this huge old squid-looking just monster just
So
comes up
we
and just
know
eats a
this
ship.
arena is going to be like top-notch everything, right?
Oh yeah, it's
And a
supposedly
growing
zero
trend
carbon.
with arenas has been projection mapping onto ice
Yeah.
surfaces. And my buddy James Crosby has been saying like this whole, because the ice surface can be your seabed and stuff like that, like
yeah.
it's gonna add some really cool pregame.
It's just gonna end up being another
displays.
Vegas show.
No, I don't think so. I think they're gonna do more like just on ice mapping instead of that ridiculous like have a knight come out there and fight a guy in a
Jets
opposing
cause.
team. That is the most corny,
It-
the cheesiest. And then the knight always overcomes like, oh yeah, we're the knights. I don't think it's gonna get that bad.
It
But
is.
I am interested in seeing like some of that ice mapping for, just having like tentacles coming out of the ice, like pregame.
I think Keats is worried about Johnny Depp somehow being involved in this.
There's, you
The
know what?
bum's all
If
gone.
those guys make it to the playoffs, I guarantee you Johnny Depp is going to be at like
No.
the finals,
Right, that's
coming
right.
out,
Yeah.
swinging
Yeah, like,
his
well,
sword.
they
I'll
have
start taking
Columbus
bets
like
at work and
light
stuff.
the cannon from a special person, or Seattle has like the 12th fan for their football franchise.
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
and Drake's like the official ambassador for the Raptors. Like Johnny Depp just becomes like the freaking.
Major eye roll.
You heard,
Well, I
it,
mean,
you heard
Jer-
it here first, folks.
Yeah, straight up. I
Exactly.
mean, Jerry Bruckheimer is one of the is
Oh,
part
damn
owner
it.
of Seattle.
It's
so-
happening then.
Oh, absolutely.
Wouldn't that
Yes.
be hilarious? You're like walking the ring of the arena and you accidentally find yourself in a Pirates of the Caribbean like
Just like-
float. That's like, oh, this is what they did with the repurposed Hall of Presidents people.
Oh God.
Oh man! But hey, as a Canucks fan, the other thing that's like super exciting about this is Canucks fans know the Canucks have like a really hard travel schedule because they're so far away from the majority of the rest of the league. So the fact that this other team's being added, I know it seems a little like in the weeds a bit, but it's dope that we have another team, most likely in our division, that can now help with our travel schedule to hopefully make the games a little bit more competitive as well.
Well,
Yeah,
not
that
only
will be
that,
fun.
that's going to build an incredible rivalry.
Yeah, I've got.
Because Seattle and Vancouver
I'm
is
pretty
so
stoked about
close to
that.
each
Yeah,
other.
like when I lived there, I would go to Seattle a lot, and there's a lot of people that go up to Portland for hockey games as well, for the and just stuff in general in the Seattle and Portland area. And I can't, like, there's going to be so much of the Vancouverites that already went on that California road trip when they do it every year that are now going to join it because it adds Seattle to the mix. It's going to be so fun.
Well, I mean, it's a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Oh, I'm definitely going to plan a situation out there where I get to see Seattle play, and then Vancouver comes into town afterwards, and then it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about it. Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
And, you know, that's the thing is that I really think the NHL really needs another, like, really good old-fashioned, like, in-your-backyard rivalry. Yeah. I mean, we've got a bunch of those in, the Eastern Conference, in, like, the Metro and the Pacific. I mean, all those teams are so close to each other.
Yeah, but you got, like, out there, I like where you're going there, Cody, because you've got the Battle of Alberta. And then you've got like the San Jose Anaheim situation.
Well, it'd be
Los
LA,
Vancouver, and LA, and then you've kind of always had like Vancouver kind of hanging out in that situation, and now it's like close enough that might become like the real rivalry, and that would be awesome.
Yeah, because absolutely, all those California teams are so close to each other. You know, it's like the battle of the freeway.
Oh yeah, no, the freeway face-off is what they usually call it for LA and Anaheim and stuff. But I mean, still San Jose. We call them the redheaded stepchilds, but I mean, yeah, it's always still a fun game to play against them.
Absolutely. So that's going to be really
Congratulations,
exciting.
Seattle, man.
Congratulations, Seattle.
But as Mike was saying, what's your views on the whole entire naming thing? Was that it?
Well, I mean, again, I heard your voice in my head.
That's
First thing, last thing.
I just didn't know if you wanted to expound upon
One more time, Ross. One more time.
Release the Kraken.
Right? I mean that breeds fear in the heart of men. Right?
So what do you think? You're going to be so Mike, are you going to be a Seattle Kraken fan or what? Are you going to leave it as it lies, or?
Well, you know, I mean, I'm an Avs fan, which, you know, that's going to be hard to change. Number one, I'm a USA Olympic hockey team fan. That's my number one, right? Like, if there's Olympic hockey on, my kids and I will be up at 5 a.m, like glued to the television, American flags hanging everywhere in our living room.
Cheers to that, buddy.
Right?
Hell yeah, I love Olympic hockey.
Olympic hockey, it's something about it that just is in my blood. I just can't even bear the thought of missing a game, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Olympic and World Championships. That's another one
that's always fun.
I love that.
If you're not fans of the World Junior Hockey Championships, it's so much fun to watch over the winter break, man. They always have an awesome rivalry game on like New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, and you're basically watching the best what would be Olympics, but for under 18 hockey.
Right.
It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So that's number one, and then the Avs, and then, you know, absolutely, like following a new franchise like that, watching them grow is gonna be fun.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't really say anybody is like a Golden Knights fan here, but let's be honest with you. I mean, if you enjoy hockey, you kept an eye on the Golden Knights when they first came into the league, and I kind of feel like it's going to be the same way, which I'm excited for. And I mean, Seattle, Vancouver, beautiful rivalry.
Plus, like, there used to be like this issue. I remember I lived in Toronto when the Raptors came into the league as an expansion team in the NBA. And like back then it was very known that you were allowed to suck for a really long time. But the NHL, the way they've been doing their expansion drafts has been awesome. So like, not to say that the new GM in Seattle is going to replicate first year final success like George McPhee did. No. But he proved it's possible under this expansion draft system.
Oh, if you get the right pieces,
so you get people excited about the team right away instead of like, I'll tune in a few years when they don't lose 45 plus games every year.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, them just like hanging on to releasing the name alone has had everybody. I mean, the hockey guys talked about it. I mean, Spittin' Chicklets has probably talked about it. They're like, what the hell is Seattle going to name their team? So that, I mean, as far as anything goes, I mean, they know how to, create a fluid convergence of attention. But the thing is like the GM's got to back that shit up. I mean, he's got a lot of big boots to fill with George McPhee.
Yeah, it's a hard
coming in and just blowing everybody's nips
he
off.
definitely set that crossbar too high. You know, there'll be too many high sticking penalties. I don't know. I'm making a bad joke. But.
Well, anyways, let's move on to something that needs to be talked about. I mean, it's not always a fun one, but hockey star Jeremy Roenick has sued NBC Sports for wrongful termination on like 2 Fridays ago, I think it was, for the remarks he made on Spit and Chicklets
About Catherine Tappan.
Catherine Tappan and his wife, yeah.
And his wife, yeah.
And his wife, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's why they call it
also-
a threesome, because there's,
Well,
the
he
wife and somebody else.
He commented on what was it? Good old Sharpie too.
yeah. He even made a comment on Sharp, which will actually play into a little bit of what we're going to cover of this. Is that he claims that he was wrongfully terminated from an anti-heterosexual bias. So basically what that means is that Roenick is saying that he was terminated for being too straight.
Held to a different standard compared to non-straight people.
Yeah.
And the reason he has that base argument is, first of all, everyone listening, this is the wrong way of thinking. Because someone else got away with it, it's okay that I got away with it.
Yeah.
That's first off his first argument. Second of all, I said those things, but Catherine apologized and didn't think it was a big, or Catherine said it was no big deal, and so that makes it okay. Also not okay. So those two things going into this, and then it's like, oh, well, these other colleagues I work with who have come out as gay have said similar things to me and have not been terminated.
Or
and so
patronized like he has been.
So they're treating me differently than those of other, like, I guess, identities of sexual orientation.
Well, and let me tell you,
it's discriminating to me because of that.
Because I'm straight and I'm talking about a coworker.
By the way, I was already fired for my stupid comments. Let me make more.
But I do want I do want to make it known that the comments he's citing was Johnny Weir talking about people's body parts while commentating an ice skating competition. So they may have came off a little, sexual or whatever. Yet he's not out at a private podcast, let's say, and talking about how he wants to put the rails to Catherine Tappan. Johnny Weir's not out there saying that, oh yeah, well, if that guy was taking a swim with my husband, I'd be banging him because he's so fucking hot. It's a different situation. Yeah, I mean it's unfortunately coming down to context, which, I mean, Johnny Weir is literally doing a job, and I mean, just because that idea that he's gay, but he makes said comments about men's body parts while commentating. It's not like he's saying out there like, oh yeah, I'd put the rails to that guy if I could.
Yeah, on live TV.
But,
yeah.
And go ahead. Does anyone else want to jump in here? Because I'm triggered by this whole situation.
No, it's stupid. No.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing about what Mike, but Weir is saying, though, is like, maybe what we need to recognize is that his network didn't handle the Weir situation properly. And the fact that he's using that as like, oh, well, because they took this action with Weir and then they took this action with me, I'm being discriminated against. What is being lost is like, maybe they didn't handle the Weir situation properly either. And then they're using, JR is using that as his comparison. And it's like, if someone doesn't get caught for something and then you do the same thing and you're then caught, you don't say, because that person wasn't caught, I'm not allowed to be caught, right?
Yeah. Oh, so, yeah, absolutely.
Like, I don't like where he's coming from with his basis of his argument, because what he said, it doesn't need to be compared to what other people have said. What he said was wrong. And the way they handled it, in my opinion, was correct.
Oh, yeah.
And so then for him to say you handled it wrong because in the past you've handled other situations this way is against the recognition that what you're doing now is still wrong, and ignoring that maybe in the past they handled it incorrectly. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Mike, what do you think, man?
Well, part of my history, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I used to be a school administrator for a lot of years. So what you're saying really resonates, because I used to deal with, I mean, parents would make that argument so many times. Well, so-and-so got away with that. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know about that. That wasn't investigated. That wasn't even reported. So how do I... That's irrelevant. Like, your kid punched this kid in the face, you know, and he's going to be suspended from school, or she is going to be suspended from school for... Can we just agree that that's not the way we handle problems?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I think that's, you know, a really good point of, like, you know, you want to... I think we need to come back as a society to say, you know, how do we respectfully, like, talk about things and make sure that we're listening to one another, and making sure that, like, people are just respectful of each other in general. I mean, that's probably the one thing I really worry about in terms of our country. This issue being a part of it is, how do we listen and be respectful and create civic and civil dialogue around issues, you know, where I feel like that's really a lost art of how do you listen to somebody else's point of view, understand where they're coming from, and if you can do that, you can probably begin to influence other people.
Yeah.
If you can't, people just kind of go to their polls and just become further entrenched in their beliefs, and that worries me, you know.
And I like what you say there, and I'm gonna ask this question. So Jeremy Roenick is coming out and making a lawsuit of this. Like, what do you think that kind of message sends to other people, like, or children, you know, kids, that, or, you know, anybody like that? You know, he's mad that he got fired, so he's gonna blame something on someone else for the actions that he made. What do you think that kind of message that sends to, you know, the younger generation?
Sure. Yeah. One of the things I think about all the time is, you know, as a coach, as a public figure, as a former school administrator, as a teacher, as, you know, as a father, right? How do we help instill personal accountability and hold each other accountable for how we act and behave, right? And so I think that's a really important piece is, you know, how do we create that? Because without personal accountability and actually community accountability, saying, no, that's not okay. You know, like, what you said is not okay, or what you did is not okay. And not being able to hold ourselves accountable, you know, that, again, that creates a society that is built on something less than a solid foundation, you know?
Wow. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see what comes of it later. I mean, in my opinion, it's a lot of just, like, you know, throwing what I did on somebody else, but we'll see. If anybody has any other opinions, we'd love to hear it. But I mean, Mike, that was pretty spot on. If you're asking me.
Well, thank you, buddy.
Thanks. The only thing I'll add to that is, like, if JR's ruling is that you're right, you were wrongfully discriminated against, then what that tells people is it's okay to make those comments as long as after the fact you apologize, the other person involved doesn't also recognize what you said was a problem. And that's what I'm concerned about, is
likewise
you are allowed to get out of jail free as long as you then apologize and everyone involved with it also is okay with it, because that's the systemic problem we're trying to break here. So
Right. Absolutely.
And there's so many systemic problems, don't you think, in terms of, like, as we look at society, where you need that too, right? You need, like, you need a venue or an avenue for people to make mistakes and figure it out, right? So I'm a big believer in like restorative justice, right?
Oh yeah,
you
absolutely.
make a mistake. How do you restore yourself to the person that you offended, the person that you hurt, and what do you do to make that right? And if you do that correctly, oftentimes everybody grows from it. The victim,
absolutely.
the perpetrator, the people around everybody grows. But if you don't have the opportunity to do that and it's not handled correctly, then the opportunity for individuals, and I would argue society, to grow is lost. So I do worry about that a little bit too, of people being judged so quickly within our society today because of, that's just the world we live in, where judgment happens very quickly with social media. Where can we allow people to grow and change
and understand kind of what they did wrong or what was wrong with a situation?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So JR, I'll say this to you as advice. Like, look at what Drew Brees did in football and realize that his comments about kneeling around the anthem were incorrect, and how now Drew Brees is looking to make change instead of looking for a way to sue someone for thinking his comments related to that are now going to ruin or damage his reputation.
Absolutely.
Realize that what you're doing is influencing the narrative of how this plays out, and maybe you should be looking at your voice in that. By the way, you're trying to get into the Hall of Fame, so maybe this isn't the greatest idea for you. But by the way, yeah, I've totally said my piece on this at this point.
No, I totally agree. And like when you're really looking at it, like your actions obviously have an effect, and now it's you've been affected by them, and what you can do after that is exactly make it better or learn from this. And from what I see, is like the greedy approach. Like, yeah, it's clear that he has not learned anything from it. Maybe that's a little too judgmental, but we'll save that for another time.
Yeah. And really it's about, like, we all want to see transformation, right? In our society and people, right? That's a great story, right? Of
do that.
When
right?
people do that, when people handle things correctly, people go, man, that's awesome. Like, that person, like, look at how they've transformed over time or through that adversity.
He's made strides.
Right.
Man,
and
yeah.
people can celebrate that, But so
well put.
Give us something to celebrate, right?
Yep.
All right. If anything else, let's pump up the episode here. We've got like I said, we left a little little meat for you boys on the bench to talk about the Calder finalists. The Calder finalists.
You give me shit about
you
that
already
all
know
the
the
time.
answer to that.
The Calder finalists, yes.
And you already know the answer to that.
Absolutely. So let's
Yeah.
let's do a quick one real quick. I mean, it doesn't have to be super super deep. Because I mean, we got really deep.
Who likes kale?
It's four
I
on,
like kale
it's
now.
4 on 1 right now, guys.
We got really deep with that JR situation, and I love that. So let's get just shallow kind of little thing. So Calder finalists: Cale Makar from Colorado,
Yes.
Quinn Hughes from Vancouver,
Yes.
Yeah.
Dominic Kubalik from Chicago.
Yes.
So I'm gonna
My man.
Yeah, I know where Ross is going with this.
I think him and Keith, they're like just sitting there like Cale. Probably more than just like a vegan that hasn't had like
Hasn't had proper sustenance in a while.
Besides how horrible that name tastes going into your mouth, he does a lot dishing it out,
They've
man.
got some decent stuff out there. Easy.
All right, let's do a quick breakdown. Mike, let's get your gauge on that. Who are you taking for the Calder finalists, the Rookie of the Year? Are you going Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, or Dominic Kubalik?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, this is an award for like a person who shows a lot of proficiency in their first year.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much.
And so, which is an interesting term, right? Proficiency. So when I think about Cale Makar, this guy is like advanced, right? He's
Right.
above his peers. We're not talking proficient. We're talking advanced. We're talking a level that is above his peers. And so that's where I would say, you have a kid who is shown himself to be advanced and therefore the candidate.
All right, Daniel.
Couldn't have said it better.
Oh, yeah. Daniel, what do you think?
Cale Makar. Well, what I'd first like to say is similar to what I was saying the other day. GMs take note. Draft good defensemen.
Yeah.
You can get good forwards every year. You cannot get good defensemen every year. And these guys will change your franchise.
And not even that top-notch defenseman. Like,
So,
he's otherworldly.
He has done an amazing job. Here's the thing that I've noticed is similar between the two. Cale Makar was thrown into a very hard decision last year. Hey, welcome to the league, starting the playoffs, have fun.
Yeah.
Right.
And now you have Quinn Hughes basically in that situation, but for the regular season for Vancouver.
Yep.
He's had.
You know what? Maybe just start. Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. We're gonna push you to 30 minutes a night sometimes. So, how much has Quinn Hughes meant to Vancouver? I think he's meant more to Vancouver than Makar has meant to Colorado. Okay, that is different from proficiency, and I still like Makar more. But that is like the closest thing I will ever say to going against the Canucks, because like Quinn Hughes, you did an amazing job this year. You really stepped up. The only thing that's probably up for debate is the fact that Makar played less games than Hughes. So it's like, but then when Makar, yeah, of course. But I mean, that's a real thing. McDavid didn't win the Rookie of the Year because he had a broken collarbone, right?
Well, yeah, and he's not here in the Hart this year.
Yeah, so
he's not here in the Ted Lindsay.
Exactly. So
year.
like you have to factor that in. But Makar's nominated, so he did get past that hurdle. So I the thing is, I'm a big into the stats of per game or to your team type relation, and Quinn Hughes has better stats, but Makar had a bigger impact in the games he played. So I like Makar as like a close second, but I feel like people will recognize that the impact to the season Hughes has made will win him the Calder.
Right on.
Obviously, I can't choose against the Canucks anyways.
You little biased ass motherfucker. What do you got, Ross? What do you think?
As I sit here wearing an Avs jersey.
I know.
No,
The hypocrisy.
Dano hit on every single note that I was, because watching Hughes just come out and change the whole entire, with Pettersson and all that lineup that he has had, and they've been in this rebuild kind of big old rebuild movement. It's been a huge asset for them. I'm still going with Cale Makar, because just being there for the playoff goal, his first goal, and everything else, and just seeing what an impact in person that he had with the Avs in those detrimental moments at home. I'm going with my boy, the hometown guy.
All right, what do you think there, Keats?
I mean, I'm just going to be repeating everyone, man. Cale Makar, man, 100%. I mean, between, Mike and Daniel, like, the guy just proved himself right off the bat. Just like Daniel mentioned, got thrown in right into the playoffs, and the kid just, like, instantly just like, all right, I guess I'm playing in the league, and just killed it.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. And you have to think about, like, you have to, like, put yourself in his skates and, like, holy shit, like, here I was playing, as just, like, trying to make it.
I'm in the NCAA Frozen Four. Yeah, that's great. But, so I just got a call that I'm going to be playing
right
in the NHL fucking playoffs.
Right out of the blue, Now you're like, hey, no, actually, you're going to go play with the Avs. And, hey, by the way, they made the playoffs. So you're going to be starting and playing with these guys.
And this is a legitimate, like, swing of momentum kind of game, too.
I mean,
and you come in and you fucking score one of your first goals in the NHL.
Right. And I'm not going to lie. I'd probably shit my pants if I was in his skates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way he handled it, and then just scores a goal, and then I believe, wasn't there a video of his parents just like ecstatic?
Oh,
like,
they were
oh my
losing
god!
their minds.
It became the new Tomas Hurdle, you know?
Absolutely.
But okay, based on what you just said, though, how is Quinn Hughes not shit in his pants?
And I believe, just for the record, that it's shit my breezers.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I don't have a good reason for you, man. You might be right, and he might be shitting his
when's the
breezers
last
as well.
time the Canucks made the playoffs before Quinn Hughes was drafted?
I guess the only reason how
2015. Yeah.
I guess what I was trying to say was, I mean, not only I get it. Yes, you're going to the NHL. Shit my pants.
Yeah.
But like in Kel McCarr's, hey, you're going to the NHL. But by the way, it's the playoffs as well. And you're playing. You're getting
congratulations on your nice awards in college. Like here's the real show. Like
you're going from the frying pan. Oh my gosh, you're going from the frying pan into the fire, basically.
Yeah.
Where Cale Makar is sitting.
Isn't he like 3 days after the Hobie Baker Award? Right?
Yeah.
And he's like in the NHL playoffs. He probably showed up in the locker room like with his trophy.
It reminds me a lot of...
Can I put this somewhere? Right?
Like Cam Ward when he won the Stanley Cup like a week earlier or later he got married because he was like, I didn't expect to be in the Stanley Cup finals. Are you kidding me?
Right? Yeah.
Like next thing he knows, he's like, well, life had some milestones pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. So here we go. I'm gonna lay down my opinion, and I'm actually before this I had my mind made up, and gauging from what everybody has said tonight, I'm gonna build my answer up to what I've heard. So check this out. Todd said proficiency. Proficiency for proficiency. I'll tell you right now, Cale Makar, extremely proficient, especially your first official year in the NHL, and all of your top two lines of offensive basically weapons go down. So basically it's you as an offensive defenseman and Nathan McKinnon. Incredible. Proficiency. Quinn Hughes. Well, let's face it. I mean, Vancouver Canucks, they do not have a very strong defensive line at all. Can you
especially now that Sven Bierchi is like, you know,
well, Sven Bierchi is a center.
He's a forward.
Yeah, and now he's,
I know,
opted out. But I mean, who else is going to be your top line defenseman in Vancouver?
That's why he goes from 20 to 22 to 30.
And extremely proficient. Dominic Kubalik. Let's talk about Kubes.
Yeah, that other third guy. That's right.
There is a third guy. I'm looking at you, everybody out there in the YouTube sphere. I don't know. There is a third guy for this Calder Cup. So, Dominic Kubalik, the most consistent player of all three.
All right.
Chicago Blackhawks missed the playoffs last year. Nobody's talking about Kubalik going into this new season. Nobody's thinking, oh, Dominic Kubalik, he's gonna just rip this league apart. Dominic Kubalik is proficient and he's extremely skilled. It's unfortunate that he doesn't have a team around him. Yet they are still in the playoffs. For what reason? Patrick Kane, and Dominic Kubalik. Johnny Taves, absent. But you've got Dominic Kubalik and Patty Kane. So, in a perfect world where it was completely fair and proficient, and actually looked at proficiency and how they added to the lineup, Dominic Kubalik.
I spent all this time making great points, making sure he was in a Canucks jersey today, and it didn't matter. God damn it.
Damn it.
That's
But there's a lot to be said about
there is
a guy
a lot to be
that
said about that.
a guy that comes into a program that lifts it up, immediately and creates, excellence in a program. That's like a blue chip guy, right?
I'll tell you right now, I love watching, looking at prospects that are going into that are going to be big names in hockey. I love looking at stats and everything. I heard zero word about Dominic Kubalik coming into this season, yet here he is scoring at least 35 goals, maybe 20 assists.
Wow. You got
I
35
No
goals?
no one is talking about Dominic Kubalik.
I didn't even realize. Oh my goodness.
35 goals? Good guy.
This man has skill, and nobody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes, Capo Caco, and Jack Hughes. We all know how that went.
It's how you present yourself is what it comes down to.
I mean, the man's a Patrice Bergeron when you really think about it. Patrice Bergeron wasn't even supposed to make it into the NHL. You got Dominic Kubalik just lighting up shit. I mean, if it was really based off a true rookie coming in and just blasting stuff, gonna go Dominic Kubalik.
Apparently, Cody's the only one that can vote without emotion involved. Good for you, man.
Sorry, that's how it goes.
Haters gonna hate, but it's the truth.
All right, so dropping that gigantic bomb on everybody.
Let's get to it.
Let's put focus on Mike Freeman over here.
This guy.
This man's got a story.
That guy, the guy with 1.5 sleeves.
Oh yeah,
that's a conversation for a different time,
that's
right?
why I love
truly.
this jersey, man. It's like the story of humanity. Like, I'm missing a sleeve.
All right, Mike. So honestly, let's get to the nitty gritty. We always like to. I mean, On the Bench with Beeks likes to get down to perspective of hockey. Let's start where anybody else starts, your life. So, I mean, you were actually highly touted as a CU quarterback. Can you tell me a little bit about how that came about and all that?
Yeah, so man, I love my CU Buffs. So that's a perfect fall day is being at Folsom Field watching my Golden Buffaloes. So with my family and kids, and so as I played football my whole life. I played a little bit of hockey as a young kid, but anybody that's out there that's trying to do both football and hockey, they know at some point, right, you got to make a choice.
Oh, they clash.
Yeah, they clash, right?
Yeah.
So I got 5 kids, but my 5th kid, his name is Johnny, and his nickname's Johnny Football, right? So Johnny Jump Cut. So of course he had to go with football, right? But he wanted to do hockey. He wanted to do both, but we were playing his football season, and I was coaching him, and he was playing hockey, and I was coaching him, and hockey tryouts came, and he said, "Dad, I can't do both. I haven't even played my first football game, and they got to try out for hockey." It's I don't want to do that. I haven't even played my first football game yet. So,
oh yeah.
So same thing for me as a kid, right? Where A, my parents couldn't afford it, and B, you can't do. It's hard. It's really hard to do both. So, I was a football guy and loved football, and ended up having a chance to go to the University of Colorado, and it was funny because had I gone into CU at a different time, I probably wouldn't have even been able to make the team. But in 1989, I was able to be a part of our first run, Colorado's first run at a national championship. We went 11, I think it was 11-0 or 10-0, and we lost to Notre Dame in the national championship. We were undefeated. We lost one of our teammates that year, Sal Anesi, to cancer, and it was an incredible journey of watching a team coalesce around a fallen teammate. So
that's really cool.
And there's that story, like you see it time and time again in sports and in life, where people do amazing things when they have a teammate that is fallen, right? And people rally around that. And that's actually the story of Dawg Nation Hockey Foundation, where our original Dogs team, we had 3 guys that had cancer and 1 guy who passed away from an autoimmune disease, and Dawg Nation was started to rally around that person. So I think there's a thread there that it's really powerful. And so I was able to be a part of that team in 1989, and then in 1990 I was a part of the team again. I was a backup quarterback, and Darian Hagan was a starting quarterback. If you've never watched Darian play football, that guy is just a wizard, man. He's just magical. I think he's one of the best option quarterbacks to ever play the game. Jameel Holloway from Oklahoma was amazing. Some of the Nebraska quarterbacks that ran the option were amazing. But
back in that day, that was you too. That was like CU in Nebraska. Just fighting teeth and teeth.
Exactly right. Yeah. So it was an amazing time to be part of the CU program, and anybody listening out there in terms of like being part of a team and like playing time, and I've coached football, and man, just be part of the team, whether you're a starter, whether you're the backup guy. Like that sense of team and that sense of like accomplishing something together is the most important thing.
That's another thing I'd like to ask, because I mean, we've had talks before, back as episode 9 when Marty, the dog father, came on, and it actually had come out that you had played for CU, and you talked about that documentary where you're like, yeah, man, if you pause it at this right moment, I'm sitting right next to the head coach.
Exactly.
Can you just expand on just being a part of a team? Because I mean, like football, hockey, it's really the same, and I think all of us can absolutely agree that being a part of something so much bigger, I mean, whether it's a football team or a hockey team, it teaches you a lot. Like, can you just expand on just being a part of that?
You bet, man. So Bill McCartney was our head coach, and he was just an amazing leader and inspiration to everybody who heard him. So imagine being 19 years old, right? And I'm listening to this guy talk. He would give a pregame speech every Thursday before the big game, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he would be like, this guy, Barry Sanders playing for Oklahoma State. This guy. And he'd describe him, and you'd just be enthralled with his description of your opponent, right? And be challenged, like the defense is in the room going, can you stop this guy? Who's going to stop this guy, right? And he just had this way of speaking about life, about football, about being a great man, a great person of character that just inspired you, right? So imagine 19 years old. I wanted to tape it. Like I wanted to put my like class recorder. In these days it'd be your iPhone, putting it on the table and recording.
No, you got the tape recorder.
Yeah, but you had the tape recorder.
Yeah.
You sit down.
You got the mini cassette.
A mini cassette, exactly. And so, but I was always afraid to do that because, like, what is everyone like? Why are you taping this? But that's how powerful it was, right? Where you wanted to record this for all time because it was so inspiring. And so, that was an incredible season, and Coach Mack started that season off, the 1990 national championship season, with a challenge to the team where it was together, everybody accomplishes more, right? So it was that whole perspective of like, it's not about any individual. We got a lot of great players on the team, but it's about everybody doing their job, everybody playing their role, and everybody loving one another, right? And everybody having personal accountability, coming back to our prior conversation, and everybody holding each other accountable, because if we're going to be national champions, you got to have all of those things. And so it was an incredible journey to watch guys go, you know what, I'm in on that. And one of the things he said, if you're not in, come see me. If you can't buy in to everything I'm saying, come see me. So I went to see him. Hey, Coach Mac, can I have a minute? And so I was terrified, but I was on the team with like a lot of these guys that, I'm a scout team guy, right? And so some of these guys coming in, they're blue chip players coming in from all across the state, from Houston, from LA, from everywhere.
Just having all these incredible transplants.
Incredible egos, right? That I'm like, man, coach is asking me to like love this guy unconditionally, and how am I going to do that? Like, and so I went and met with them. I said, like, I'm struggling with this. And to his credit, he cleared his schedule for his scout team quarterback for an hour and took me through. And by the time I left his office, I was like, all right, I'm in. And so I think that just says so much about him as a coach, to say, I want everybody on this team to buy in to where we're going as a team, and even my third string quarterback, right? So I think, like, as you think about leadership, right, it's like everyone is valuable on this team. And so that's really stuck with me in terms of, how I lead and how I treat people, in terms of, the guy who's scoring goals or scoring touchdowns or on the head of the podcast, like Cody Beekman, right? Everybody's valuable. So that it was, those were some really special years, and I think about Coach Mack all the time, and the person that he is, and how he led the team.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, that's exactly what I mean, I can't speak for all the boys, but I think I could just go ahead and say that's exactly how, we kind of thought about hockey, having a really good coach that really led a team. And I mean, maybe if we never really had that, but I mean, hockey, just like for you, football has really just kind of shaped your incredible mindset,
Right. And you think about all of us, I think we would probably agree that we all crave great leadership, right? Whether it's from a national leadership, like we want a president that we can be proud of, a president that like we can all go, man, that's a woman or a man that I can be proud of and follow. We want that. We want a coach that we can follow. We want a boss that sets a culture in our workplace that we go, I love this company. I love that person. Maybe I'm not making what I could at another company, but I'm all in, right? So that's
I'd rather not leave.
Even with your peers, family members, God, it just
absolutely,
it just goes down the line.
It does, right?
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
It does, no. And I was out to chime in on that. I mean, this was the main reason why I became a fireman. Playing hockey and stuff, you have just like that team, you have your coach, you got that camaraderie, there's like something about it, and when you're out of it, you're almost kind of like lost. And then, going into, it's like, well, what can I find that could be as close to that? And I found my way into getting into what I do now, but no, it's like, I mean, you said it right on point.
Yeah.
Right on point.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up, like, when you were talking about, like, your coach, it was interesting because you said, together everyone achieves more. And as you were talking about your coach, I was thinking about my coach, Tom Zarnik. Rest in peace, Tom Zarnik. And I still have my T-shirt from my hockey team, and on the back of it, it says, together everyone achieves more. So it was really cool. And I really liked, like, the other thing that stuck with me through like professional leadership that I think everyone that is in sport should realize is a byproduct of sport that applies to life is there's been moments in my life where I've like found myself asking myself the same questions that my coach would ask me before a game. And one of the ones that's really stuck with me was always like, if you can look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you gave the best effort you can possibly you can be disappointed with the result, but you can take pride in knowing you tried your very best. And like, that's something that was told to me as a hockey player, not as a person in life, but I constantly go to that as not just a coping mechanism, but a motivational mechanism in life. And I think like that's the power of sport that I love as well, is the way you're talking about your coach just makes you, it imprinted on you in a way that wanted you to expand upon that skill set beyond just sport, right?
Absolutely. And think about like the message of like, did I love my teammate unconditionally, right? No matter what. No matter how this season ends, can I do that? No matter what, do I love my wife unconditionally? Can I love my children unconditionally? Can I love my friends unconditionally, right?
Can you love yourself unconditionally?
Can I love myself unconditionally? Absolutely, right?
That actually helped me a lot stay in hockey, because I moved from a different country and started to try to get into the clubs when I moved from Canada to the States. And like, I got bullied in school a little bit, but
hey, me too.
Yeah. And
especially
it's not fun moving to Canada from Canada to the States the year after the South Park movie blaming Canada.
Absolutely not. Like that's
and I got razzed a lot even on the team, but then when I got on the ice and I let my skills do the talking, it was like, oh wait, this guy is going to help us accomplish this goal. And so on the ice, like, it didn't matter what was going on outside of sport. Like, I was part of a mission everyone was trying to buy into, and like, I needed people to love me unconditionally for me to be successful. Because if I felt like I was still getting that bullying like I was in the other parts of my life, I wouldn't be able to have excelled like I did, or felt free and comfortable to do so. So yeah, I'm a recipient of what your coach has said, right. I guess.
Right.
You know? And
I honestly think we all have had our times where that has been extremely prominent in our own lives.
Yep.
I mean, just like Keith said, like, I mean, coming from the Baltic, basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Keats knows all about that, but I mean, the thing is, I mean, it's done a huge thing for my life too, you know? I mean, maybe I haven't come from a different country, or, you know, but I've always, like, when I was growing up, I've always had extremely difficult self-image issues, you know? And when you walk in, especially when you walk into your first like, basically into any hockey locker room that you've just been like accepted to, you know, you've got that idea, but you've got so many eyes looking at you, like, pretty much feeling the same way, or, you know, just like, who's this guy? Why is he here? Like, why am I with him? You know, and you've got a lot of just straight up just eyes looking at you, and
yep.
I mean, with you know, body image issues, or just like your own issues in your own right, it's kind of hard just to like walk into a locker room like that, into such a you know, domineering sport.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, man. And you're bringing up like memories, like that very. It was like a 5 a.m. practice. That very, very first time walking into that locker room at the Promenade for the Highland Hills Jaguars.
Yeah.
Not knowing anyone, barely speaking any English, and just be like, here I am. But you know what? That year I was very lucky because I had super awesome teammates, super awesome coach, very accepting, you know. But God, imagine, you know, who knows? I could have walked into a team that was the complete opposite. You know?
Truly.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that.
You know what I
Keats. Yeah, well, and I didn't have like the best coach or the most amazing coach, but he always had a saying, "We can't be rock stars every day." I mean, and that spoke volumes with me, because you're not going to be perfect every single time you show up on the ice and everything.
Don't think you could be perfect.
Yeah, you get what I'm
once,
saying. It's just like,
know?
yeah, but we all have our flaws. Just be the best self that you can be, and that's how I took that. Just, yeah, you make your own rock star. I mean, yeah.
Wow, Mike, you've just set like this huge set of like.
And I've enjoyed watching watching the dialogue go around, because, you know, it's interesting. I think we all recognize, like, man, that's, you know, like, I'm not following a leader at work, or, you know, a coach that's you know, that is great. So we all recognize when leadership isn't great, and the implications it has in our jobs, our fields, our team. And it makes you realize that when you have something like that, that's special, man. That's where greatness happens.
That really cements your feet into something more.
Yeah, just try to rise above from the situation and make yourself better.
Right.
I mean, that's a beautiful thing, but
yeah.
So I'd like to find out where, like, the transition from, you know, CU quarterback to like hockey extraordinaire.
Yeah, hockey extraordinary. Yeah. So I was a principal at the time, and one of my parents came up to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Freeman, can I talk to you a minute? Like, I understand your family's from North Dakota, and you played for Colorado, and you know, I'd like to talk to you about playing hockey with this Old Dogs team." And I'm like, man, that I haven't played hockey since since I was a little kid, like watching the 1980 Olympics, right? Like, I used to skate outside. At the time, my family was living in Wisconsin. We used to just skate out on the creek and the ponds out there. And I was like, man, I would love to do that. Like, what do I need to do? He's like, well, go to play. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Play It Against Sports. Here's your list. Go buy everything on this list. So I go do that. Meanwhile, he's talking me up to this, you know, to Marty and all the boys, right? Talking about what a great athlete I am. CU guy, North Dakota. And so I come into the locker room with all my stuff from Play It Against Sports, set my bag down. I'm watching Marty's brother Nigel get dressed, and I'm going, hey, Nigel, how do you put all this stuff on? He goes, oh my God, you're
BS.
No
way.
Not only are you, you know, and you're this great athlete, and you're funny. Oh my God! And I'm like, I'm sitting here in pure desperation.
Yeah. Like, no, I need to fucking know how
exactly. And I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be brutal, dude. So I watch Nigel get dressed. I do everything he does. Like, okay, clear tape. Okay, oh yeah, I kind of remember this. So I'm like putting on my shinnies and wrapping them with clear tape, putting in the over socks. You know, like, I'm just following him step for step. So then we go out for warm-ups, and, like, you know, I just kind of skate over to the bench quickly, and, like, you know, like, I'm watching them all shoot on the goalie. And if you haven't played since you were like 8 years old, I don't even remember, like, how do you take a shot on the goal? Like, what's the protocol here? I don't even know.
What's the process?
Yeah, like, help. I'm scared. Like, I'm over on the bench, like, trying to arrange my water bottle, like, for 5 minutes, right?
Is everybody gonna know that this is my water bottle?
Exactly. And so I'm just buying time. Like, I don't want everybody to know how bad I am until, like, they know. And so
delaying the inevitable.
Exactly, delaying the inevitable. So finally, like, I'm on the third line. Marty's out there. He's like, you know, and I don't even know how to change. I don't know, like, how to change or whatever, you know, like. And so pretty soon Marty's like, Freeman. Everyone's like, Freeman, get out here. Oh, now? So I go over the boards. Kid you not. Clip my toe on the top of the board, jumping over, land right on my head in a big pile. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, what this? Seriously? Like, was that like?"
He's still the funniest guy
yeah,
I've
he's
ever met.
He's the comedian.
This
but
guy's
what did we
a comedian.
get into?
But then they see me take off. So now I'm skating, and it's just like a baby giraffe on skates.
Just like bending like crazy, like, I'll get it.
I'll get there. And it's like the far circle from our bench, too. So
Oh, my God.
by the time I get there, I've got so much speed built, uncontrolled speed built up. Marty's standing in the face-off circle with the ref, and I can tell they're kind of talking about me like, oh, my God, this guy's new to our team.
Who is this fucking guy?
Exactly.
Be easy on him.
And I come in out of control, take out Marty and the ref, and put us all into the boards because I just smoked everybody because I couldn't stop.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
This is the worst shift of hockey
ever
I've ever heard of.
The worst premiere of anybody's career ever.
Oh, Lord. Wow.
Yeah. And then later in the game, Nigel makes the mistake of trying to carry the puck, and I'm out there on the ice. He thinks I'm going to be able to, like, change, like, directions quickly. And I just, 225 pounds at the time, just smoke him,
Just go barreling into him.
And he's on my team. He hits the ground. He hits the ice. He comes up, like, with his fists up, thinking someone from the other team hit him. And
Just
he's like,
ready to throw some bones.
and he's looking at me like, what is your problem? Like, how you were on my team and you just, like, broke me, So that was my premiere to hockey. Since then, I've gotten a lot better.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I don't think it can get any worse.
Yeah, it couldn't get any worse, for sure.
Holy shit, man. I mean, 62-0 doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm still sticking to my story. 62-0 is a little worse.
Yeah.
When you're the upcoming team for the city.
Well, I mean, at least you didn't look like you were sliding into everybody's DMs on the ice, though.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Well,
So we're going to keep your email off the level 4 sub needed.
Yeah, exactly.
My man.
Yeah.
so you kind of answered our following question: is how you got in touch with Dawg Nation.
Exactly. Yep. So that was my connection with Dawg Nation, and then I was a principal at the time. Became a community superintendent in Jefferson County School District. Love that work again about leadership. How do you grow great leaders?
Absolutely.
And that's a passion of mine. And then when I retired from Jeffco, Marty right away was like, hey, you got to come be on the board of Dawg Nation. So then I was on the board of Dawg Nation for 3 years. And then as we generously received the land grant or the land donation from Castle Pines to build this rink, it became really apparent right away that, Marty can't do this alone, right? He can't run a foundation and run all the major events that we run and do everything that Marty is doing and run a $38 million capital campaign.
Oh, for sure. Well, we all know that Marty, the dog father, is just a man on a mission.
Yeah.
Like, that guy never stops. But, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
At some point, he's got to have a break. So how'd you get into that?
Yeah, so then we approached our board and said, hey, we gotta bring in the Don Corleone, right?
The Don Corleone, yeah.
You're talking about the Al Pacino, yeah.
Exactly.
You're bringing in the next Don. There you go.
And so now it's just a matter of when the takeover is, right? I mean, I'm yeah. If Marty gets in a car behind me, I'm always like, what's going on right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we going up to a toll booth or is it
We're
a
going
drive?
for a
I'm
ride.
kidding.
We're going for a ride. Yeah. Why am I sitting in the front seat and people are behind me? So no. So it's been a great. So we've been at it together in our new roles for about a year. Me as executive director, him as president, and man, things are just rolling. And we've got so much positive momentum despite a worldwide pandemic. We've got our Dog Bowl coming up. We've never had more interest from teams, from sponsors. Our silent auction is rocking. So,
and when you say teams, like, can you elaborate? Like, just like, because it is an ice hockey tournament. Like, what kind of teams are you talking about here?
Yeah, you bet. So we have 48 teams across 7 divisions. So we got, of course, based on my history, I still haven't moved out of the lowest division, but
The Benders, the Bender League.
We've got
He
the
came in
Benders.
like a wrecking ball.
Exactly.
The Miley Cyrus League.
That's right.
I still don't want to see him on a wrecking ball, though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you don't. You
I
don't want to see that. Yeah.
no.
Yeah. I've got teammates who have broken noses. True story. They're like the Freeman train. Stay out of the way of the Freemanator. So we got that league, and then we got all the way up to the Platinum League, which is we have about approximately 30 pro or from current pro guys to former pro guys, all that are just embedded in our Platinum division. And including our mainline West Top Dogs, that is our kind of our dog team, but we've never won the Dog Bowl. So our Dog Bowl team has
So
never
the
won
dogs have never won the Dog
Dogs
Bowl.
have never won the Dog Bowl at the highest level. So
Well, what kind of other leagues do you have? Do you have like women's leagues or
Yep.
what's going on there?
absolutely. So this year we added 2 teams to the women's division, which was important to us. We wanted to expand the women's division from 4 to 6.
Nice.
And
Cool.
Then we have again all the way from the Benders all the way to the pros, and then we also have 3 sled hockey exhibition games, which
great.
is amazing. We wanted to have more, but just with COVID, some of those teams with sled, it's very expensive for them to travel all the way to Colorado.
Incredibly so.
And so, just with the uncertainty of that, we didn't want to have them commit to like getting their whole team out here when there's so much uncertainty. So, but we do have 3 sled hockey exhibition games from the highest level, like Paralympic gold medal level, all the way down to
Wow.
sled kid hockey. So, and we're
That's
excited
cool.
to have you guys there. On the bench with Beeks is going to be rocking out at our Dog Bowl. As well as Shaw Hockey Productions is going to be covering all of the Platinum games. So
Oh, for sure. And like he said, we're gonna be there. What are some of the things that you are most excited about? I mean, like if we need to get deep, we can get deep. But like, what are you excited about? Just right off the top of this, because this is your first Dog Bowl, is it not?
it's my first Dog Bowl as executive director of the foundation. Yeah, it's I think it's maybe my 7th Dog Bowl as a dog,
As
right?
a patron.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
So I've always enjoyed watching Milan play hockey. Milan Hajduk. This is going to be his first Dog Bowl because he's usually in the Czech Republic, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
no,
so
no,
this
no,
is-
yeah.
So he's playing on our mainline West Top Dogs, along with Yanni Hayda, who's been a guest of this show.
So I'll just,
yeah.
give,
Big shout
I'll
out
just
to
give
Yanni.
you
Yep.
my Hayduk jersey after this episode to take to him. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Well, just
Yeah, for
bring
sure.
it.
Well,
Bring
just
it
bring
to
it
him.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll
You can
see
get
him
it
there
signed.
for sure.
Give him a
Oh,
little
whoa.
smooch on the cheek while you're at. I'm
Exactly.
kidding. I'm kidding. No, COVID.
That's such a funny thing is that like the first time I ever met him was through Dawg Nation,
Yeah.
Milan Hajduk, and he was so nice, man. Like we went out to a bar, we we had burgers and we drank and stuff. He actually paid for all the drinks too. Like thank you, Milan. And he was so nice enough to like just like this random crippled kid to do like a little video to send it to like one of the gals I was talking to at one time because she was a huge Milan Hajduk fan, and I had sent her a text message earlier saying like, you will never guess who I'm out to dinner with right now, and I was like, well yeah, it's Milan Hajduk, and she's like, make out with him, I dare you. And so what was really cool is that like after the dinner and everything, he actually agreed to do a little video with me, and it was a video for this gal that I mean, Jerry, I love you, have a good time. You'll remember this. And during the video, I was like, hey, Jerry, guess who I'm with? Like Milan Hajduk, and he's like, hey, Jerry, I'm Milan Hajduk, but tonight I will not make out with Cody. And then
Oh, Jesus.
Because I told him about it previously. I was like, yeah, maybe next time. He's like, yeah, well, maybe next time. And then, like, the video is, I just, like, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And it turns out, you know, he's such a huge part of Dawg Nation.
Apparently, Czech hockey players are amazing and super nice and awesome because you found yourself accidentally on purpose in cars with Jan Heda and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? Where I know that those guys are just amazing, man. Jan and Milan are just they're like that Czech duo, but just in terms of all of those guys, like John Mitchell, Kyle Quincy, John Michael Lyles, they're just all in on helping give back, and that's
amazing.
Yeah, that's where it just it's an amazing to watch those guys just be part of Dawg Nation and just part of the hockey world giving back. So as I think about our, some of our pros that are joining our Dog Bowl, for the DU fans out there, we got, Troy Terry, Gambrell, Will Butcher, Butcher's playing for the Devils, Dylan's playing for San Jose Sharks, Troy Terry's playing for Anaheim.
Oh
yeah,
my
that's
God.
huge.
And all these guys are playing in the Dog Bowl, right? And so we get to
awesome.
watch pro level hockey. And I'm really excited about that, right? Hockey opens again on August 1st, so we'll have, you got NHL hockey. We're trying to broadcast that at the same time as our Platinum games, at the same time as you guys are broadcasting stuff.
Oh, great, yeah.
And to me, like, that's again, like, oh man, I think people crave normalcy. I know we're trying to be super careful and make sure that we're being, really respectful and cautious and very prepared to make sure that we're taking all the procedures to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just that sense of normalcy to say, oh my God, does it feel good to play some hockey and drink some beer?
Oh yeah.
And watch some hockey on the screen?
Yeah.
Right? It's just going to be, that again, from my point of view, brings like some hope back, right? To
yeah. And perseverance, man.
And perseverance. Like, we're going to get through this, right?
Like this whole, the entire idea of the Dog Bowl every single year is truly perseverance, hope, and goodwill.
Absolutely.
And I mean, this year, just still coming through and playing, just throwing off Dog Bowl 10 is an incredible tribute to perseverance.
Absolutely. And one of the things that is a signature of the Dog Bowl, and we'll have some of our jerseys and our Survivor game kind of is postponed right now, but because a lot of our survivors are immune compromised, so we want to be respectful of that and cautious of that. So
now, can you explain the Survivor game?
Yeah, so everyone in the Survivor game has survived something, right? So they've survived cancer, they've survived a car crash, they've survived Humboldt, a bus crash, they've survived a helicopter crash. And whether it's the players, the coaches, the scorekeepers, the refs, everybody a part of it is a survivor. And so,
and that's one of the biggest games for the Dog Bowl, where you normally see all these incredible survivors come in and that have persevered and get to play the beautiful game that everybody loves.
Absolutely.
Is hockey.
Yep.
And so this year, in a sense, the whole Dog Bowl is about surviving and persevering, right? Because even to have the event where every day is a challenge of, okay, how do we solve that so we keep the tournament alive, right? We gotta maybe we have to wear masks while we play, maybe we have to move the whole bar outside, we have to go in one door and go out the other. Doesn't matter. We're going to persevere and we're going to make this tournament happen, right? Because we want to keep moving forward, and I think that's a good lesson for everybody. What do we have to do? And let's figure it out. Let's overcome it, and let's make things happen, right? And keep people safe at the same time.
Instead of strong
Absolutely.
presidents.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the fact that, in a few years we'll be able to have a Dog Bowl outside the rinks that aren't built yet, that are part of this initiative to bring more sled hockey to Colorado. and more accessibility to ice hockey in general to Colorado.
Well, let's get into that real quick, is because, I mean, a lot of our listeners may not know about this. Just a quick rundown of the ice rinks that you are trying, that Dawg Nation is trying to build, and a lot of your donations and a lot of action that comes from the Dog Bowl this year is going to be moved into. Well, I'll let you take it, Mike.
Yeah, so we are building a 3-sheet hockey rink out in Castle Pines, Colorado, where it's purpose built for the disabled athlete. It has no impact on able-bodied athletes, but we're really looking at that sled hockey player, that blind hockey player, the cognitive disabled player. Like, how do we make sure we create an inclusive rink that is home and that is purpose built for these athletes, right? So that's really powerful. How do we build a hockey rink for all? On August 1st, we're launching our crowdfunding video. That is going to be, it's less than 2 minutes, but man, is it powerful. It's got John Mitchell in it, Jan Hayda, and stakeholders that represent these different athletes to say, we're going to build a hockey rink for all. And it's not easy to do, but it's much easier to do when you start from the ground up, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And so we're gonna enlist you guys in that, and making sure that everybody sees our video that day. We got to create a big social uplift from across different channels, from the NHL to to football, to comedians, to bands, to how do we get everybody to help lift this up? And it's going to be direct people's www.hockeysheart.com. And so when they go there that day, when that's live, everybody across the world will have a chance to say, you know what, hey, I'm in for that for $10, $15, $50, $100, $200.
I mean, even $10 or $5.
Right, and that everybody gets to be part of that vision. Which again, I would argue, people want to be part of something great. That's something that you can contribute to and change the world.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I might not be able to get this out without crying. I'm a little softy, but what that means to somebody like me in a wheelchair that always enjoyed being on the ice, that shows possibility for me to get back out on the ice.
Absolutely. And
that to someone like me, the whole reason why I started, I got into this podcast is because I love hockey, but I really want to get back out onto the ice. And the fact that you guys are working towards a facility where I can feel comfortable, coming to and getting out on the ice is, that's gigantic.
Absolutely.
I can't even tell you how much that means to me. And we actually have an incredible follower, Blind Hawk, a blind hockey player right now that I guarantee you would totally just love it. And just to say, before I start breaking down, thank you.
Thank you so
buddy.
much. And those are drivers for us, you being able to feel the ice again and smell the ice and hear the ice and feel that wind in your face of skating on the ice. That's a driver that's freedom, right? That's something we want Cody Beekman to experience
truly
often again, right?
That's the one thing where I always felt free was on the ice. And the fact that you guys are driving towards that, just for for people like me, for people like the Avalanche Warriors, are just incredible.
Yeah.
And I'll never stop fighting for that, for sure.
Yeah.
And just to bring us full circle, you talked about how you got inspired to be part of Dawg Nation, partially because of the influence your coaches had on you in different sports. So can you imagine the impact you're about to have on other people that would never get into this sport until you gave them the facility to do so?
Absolutely.
And now you've created an environment where you're going to allow people to experience the same positive leadership that you had to impact their life in a way that you can see the impact it's had on you affect Dawg Nation. Imagine these unknowns that are going to go out in the world and do amazing things too.
Absolutely. And you guys have seen the checks that Dawg Nation has delivered before to recipients. I mean, they're
I have been a part of that.
You've been a part
absolutely.
of that. But you may not know I was a recipient of Dawg Nation as well. And so it was probably right around the time of your accident, Cody, where I took a puck to the head playing pond hockey, and I was going in to get stitched up, and then crazy story, got in a car accident pulling into the Kaiser Permanente parking lot to get stitched up. This lady came and took off the front end of my car, and literally it was like 911 calls, and the paramedics roll up and they're like, oh, we got a head injury. I'm like, head injury? No, this is just from a puck, like it's not from the accident.
That's so funny is that's the exact same thing that happened to me a couple days before I got into my initial accident that paralyzed me. God, this is embarrassing, but I actually walked home and took a header into some truck back in. So everybody, when they saw me in the ICU, they're like, oh my God, his face is so bad. And they're just like, well, that was actually from a week before.
Right, yeah.
But sorry, anyways.
No, that's funny. That's funny.
But I mean, your organization has meant a lot to me personally too, because you remember Butchie, the ref?
Of course.
So I moved to Colorado, and I was like trying to stretch before a game that was at 10:30 at night, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing out here at 10:30 at night? Like, I got better things to do. I got work in the morning.
Oh,
like,
fuck
this
that. Hockey's
this
the
is
only
just
good thing
ridiculous, right? And that's pretty much what Butchie said to me. He's like, but you're here.
And you're playing hockey.
Like, apparently this means something to you. And he made me realize that, like, holy crap, like, this is my release. This is my moment. But I was on the verge of quitting the game, and this guy, like, brought me into a realization that, like, just check your shit at the door and enjoy this time. And then not more than 2 weeks later, I see you guys involved with a guy I played rec league hockey with in Chicago, who lost his mother, who was a huge figure in his life, and they let him drop the puck, go to the other end of the ice, and score a goal as, like, a tribute to how much that has meant to him. And, like, now I'm on the verge of fucking crying too, man. Like,
hey, bud.
It's really cool to be able to be here sitting in Colorado as a transplant from a different city, and to experience the effect that your cause has made on me in multiple cities over the last few years. It's really awesome. So,
yeah. And what part of what that story tells me too is, like, again, it goes back to, it doesn't, tragedy comes for everybody, right? It doesn't matter if, you're Canadian or American. It doesn't matter if you're American Indian like Butch, or, or any race, nationality, sexual preference. It doesn't matter, man. Tragedy is tragedy, and when you need help, you need help. Yep. And so what I love about Dawg Nation is we come in, and when I say we, I mean all of us, right? Not Dawg Nation, but everybody comes in and says, how do we help you, and how do we walk alongside you in your journey towards recovery? Where my favorite part, like, even for myself, like, Dawg Nation, you know what they did for me? They gave us $250 and a car, a fully gassed up Suburban, so I could get my family to North Dakota, because I just lost my car, right? I just lost the family car in this accident. And it was like the day before Christmas, and I was like, shoot, I'm not going to be able to get my family in North Dakota for Christmas. And they came over with $250 like gas card and a fully gassed up Suburban, all vacuumed out, ready to go, Dawg Nation t-shirts for everybody, and said, get your family to North Dakota. And that never left me, because I thought, $250 was a lot of money in that situation. We've given checks for over $100,000, but $250, that's my wife and I's favorite donation to make. Some version of, $250, $2,500, like that. $250 can change somebody's life. you know.
And you're looking at someone that has that $250 has changed someone's life over and over again.
Easily.
And I hear there's some other things that we can spend money on that can change people's lives.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely. We've got
some cool stuff.
We've got the Dawg Bowl 10's auction that has some incredible stuff. I mean, even if you're, like a drunkard like me, we've got like whiskey bottles.
Easy.
If you're a baseball fan, you've got that. If you're a basketball fan, and obviously a hockey fan, Dawg Nation always puts on an incredible auction.
Yes, we do.
That along with the Dawg Bowl, and what's so cool about this year? I mean, obviously COVID's kind of like grabbed its claws and just set it in. But the coolest thing about this year is that you can bid from wherever you're sitting. Like literally right now, you can bid on these incredible items. So I think we're gonna kind of go through some of our favorite items.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna actually get, like I said, on the bench with Beeks Manor. We're gonna have Mike start us off.
Oh man, thank you. Again, so our auction, we have over 120 live auction items right now. And we add every day. We add incredible items to this list, and again, that just shows like the power of the community. Like these items are being given to us, right? Sign sticks and golf foursomes and river rafting trips, and I mean just incredible stuff. And so all you have to do is text. You got to text Dawg Bowl 10 to 76278. Dawg Bowl 10.
That's Dawg Bowl X.
Yes, thank you. Good clarification.
And also DAWG, not DOG.
Yep.
There you go.
To 76278, and then you start bidding. It's also on our homepage of our website, Dawg Nation Hockey Foundation. But
.org.
.org. My favorite item right now is a flashback to 1980. Again, February 22nd, 1980.
What team do you play for?
Yes, exactly. And it's a Mike Eruzione jersey. Scored the winning goal for the 1980 gold medal Olympic team. And so we have like a signed Mike Eruzione jersey, and that's like just so nostalgic, right? It's like for me, football-wise, that's like Fran Tarkington, right? For the Minnesota Vikings,
so
Mike
awesome.
Eruzione. 1980 Olympic team, like that's one of my favorites. As well as there's a house, one of the houses that's up for auction that you can rent for the weekend or buy for the weekend, I guess. And like it's like right on the river, you can just walk out and fly fish. So it's just
Where's that?
That's the Breckenridge
that
one,
I think is in Breck. Yeah. Exactly.
So
yeah.
you can literally bid for an incredible house on the river.
Absolutely,
It's
man.
like a
right?
staycation.
And rally some boys up there for a boys' weekend or
you know
whatever.
what?
Right?
I think you've got your first bidder. So let's keep moving this on. Let's go, Daniel. Daniel, what are you going to be bidding on this weekend?
Yeah, so you can all just stop bidding on the Joe Sakic Canada jersey right now.
That's like a desperate plea right there.
So basically, like I love Joe Sakic.
Where do
First
I
of
stop?
all, Burnaby Joe, right? So
Burnaby
I got
Joe.
the Vancouver connection, like I needed one, and then. The other thing I love about Joe is like, look at that jersey. It's not 19. It's not number 19. And you're like,
it's never been.
What is going on with the number 19 in Canada hockey history? And you're like, well, we've got Jonathan Toews. We got Steve Yzerman. We got Jay Bouwmeester. We got Joe Sakic. And it's like, who takes their turn at 19? And the dope thing about the 91 is, or the 19 hole situation is like that's awkward for Sakic and Yzerman and all those other guys. And
well, when you really want to look at it, it's like Yzerman was in the league before.
That's right.
Burnaby Joe. So.
And so you think, oh, okay, well that's why he took what number he did out of respect to Yzerman. And then the coolest, classiest thing about Sakic in that whole history is, like, there was a time, and you have to know, like, I'm a guy that collects Canada Olympic hockey jerseys. My jersey on the bench video, that's all that it's about. And, like, you have Sakic not taking 19 when it's available because he's like, you know, I've been wearing 91. Jay Bouwmeester, it's your turn. Before you were on the Blues, you wore 19. Have it. And, like, that's class, man. That's class. Yeah. So, like, there's so much about that jersey that's, like, history within the number, and then the fact that it's available. Damn, I love that. So take a look at that one for sure.
I am. How much do you want me to run you up?
It's a good bidding war we'll get into, I guess.
We all might be spending some money at this Dog Bowl here.
I'm going to be so broke. I'm going to be so broke.
Go for broke.
Keats, what you got here, man? What's the Dawg Nation, auction item that you're looking at and just trying to get your fingers on?
So I guess I'm a little different. I'm not trying to go for the jerseys or anything like that. Well, maybe.
Allegedly.
If it's
allegedly.
Right.
Throw us off the scent.
Yeah. I'm watching you.
I might take that home, but anyways, what I'm interested in is there's a man by the name called John Jay. John Jay is someone that's been part of the Dawg Nation for a very long time, and he was also my very first team captain when I per se came out of my retirement stage and got into beer league hockey. By the way, Brew Crew for life. Anyways,
as he's sitting here with his Avalanche bear on his right knee.
Isn't that cute, though? Isn't that cute, the little Patty Wah bear?
I was wondering if we're talking about that or what's going on.
No, I just figured I'd just address the elephant in the room.
There's a
small
story.
My bad.
Anyways, get back into it.
But no, anyways, so John's been part of the Dawg Nation for quite some time. And I remember every time we would be done with a game or before a game, he would go straight to the ice rink staff and ask, hey, do you have any broken sticks? And he'd pick up a crap load of them. And he'd get to the point where he's like, hey, if you got a broken stick, you leave it and I will come grab it from you.
Wow.
So anyways, everyone's probably like, what's up with these broken sticks? What John does is he builds chairs out of broken hockey sticks that he puts together himself, and then he donates them to Dawg Nation, where they can auction them off for money that obviously goes to the Dawg Nation to help someone in need down the road.
We're talking like Adirondack chairs, like lounge chairs style, right?
Lounge chair style. They come in many different shapes and sizes.
Oh, okay,
I think it's whatever he feels like that time, he builds them. But they've had different styles, and they're super cool.
They are really cool.
We've got 4 of them this year too, Keats. One of them has Dawg Nation, like dog sticks on the outside, 2 sticks.
That might have to be mine that I get this year.
I don't know
Easy.
about that.
Easy. I'm kidding.
No, but the reason why I wanted was because John's just a cool dude, and a little story about him is like he always just looks out for people, and he loves to get to know people. For example, like when I started to play for Brew Crew, he knew I was a Latvian coming out of Latvia, and I had passion for Latvian hockey and all that. And outside of what John does for Dawg Nation, he's also a big like a gear collector and like things like that. He just loves like anything hockey.
Well, just like a hockey nerd.
And apparently one day, and he was browsing through eBay or whatnot, and he ended up finding this sweet Latvia jersey, all embroidered and whatnot, and pretty unique. And he knew I played for him, and he just picked up the jersey. And one day, after a game, he's like, "Oh," and it was like nonchalant too. "Oh, by the way," and he just throws it at me. And I'm like, "What's this?" And he's like, "Oh, I found it. I figured you'd like it. It's yours." And it was this all embroidered Latvia jersey. It's actually the one I wore last episode. I don't know You guys were able to see it on YouTube, but that was the one that John Jay gave me,
Beauty.
and I love it. It's honestly one of my favorite jerseys.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what I'm gonna go for. The chair.
All right, so I'm just gonna roll down. My favorite is it's the signed Landeskog Avalanche jersey. It's beautiful. I mean, I love Gaba Landeskog, and I mean, one of the first years he was here, he met me down at the like the signing plats, like the signing place.
Oh, right by the buses and everything. Yeah, we've talked about this story a bunch there, buddy.
You know what was so cool is that like they like there were like maybe 3 women, like maybe teen gals that were there, and they had asked him, excuse me. They had asked Landeskog to call one of their friends.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right.
And he made like a 10-minute call to this gal, and it was just like he was so stoked about it, and he was so into the conversation. And as soon as he finished that phone call, he turned over to me. He took one look at me and he said, "Let me give you a hug."
I love it. I love that story.
And he gave me the biggest, most like inviting hug ever. So I'm gonna have to say, yeah, that 92 signed jersey, I'm gonna be bidding on.
It would look great on the wall in the laboratory, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, you're gonna be vigilant on that shit too.
Yeah, I'm actually running out of a lot of room here and there.
Well,
But hey, I mean, Landy, thank you so much. Yagaska Day. So tak so mike. So at the very end of this little podcast, what do you want to say to everybody out there, Mike?
Well, I just think where you ended right there is a great place, right? What Landy showed you, and what I've been witnessing, I've been inspired by. So I know that all of you guys have maybe different stories of where you've been inspired in your life, and hopefully Dawg Nation has been part of that. And I just gotta say to your listeners, Cody, I've been so inspired. This is my 3rd visit up to on the bench with Beeks, and I watch a lot, right? I watch and I observe a lot, and what I've observed has just been an amazing story, because I watch your dad Phil love on you, and I see the love between a father and a son, and I see the father just taking care of you, and he's so proud of you. He just loves you.
Oh, I love him so much.
And I see the
too.
love back that you reciprocate to your dad, and I see you guys, the way you guys love on your friend Cody, and it just inspires me, man. Like, if you're listening to this, you can't see this. If you're on YouTube, you can see Phil coming over and making sure Cody has something to drink. You see these guys changing out his headphones. To me, like, that's what life is about. How do we serve each other, and how do we like meet somebody where they are? And so I want you guys to hear that, like, you guys inspire me. You guys inspire Dawg Nation to like keep going and keep working hard, because it's worth it, because it matters to people. And so I just want to say thank you guys, because even the way you podcast, Dawg Nation's going to start a podcast someday because of you guys, because we look at the good work you're doing even through this podcast and go, how do we do that? How do we be as cool as on the bench with Beeks,
We're always so happy to help you.
I know you are, yeah. And I want you to hear that, though. I want that to soak in, because when you see that unconditional love living out in the lives of friends like I'm watching here, and between a father and a son, it's pretty inspiring. And it just reminds you of, again, what we talked about earlier. How do you be the best person you can be?
Oh yeah,
That's awesome, man.
And that can speak volumes with just God, depending on your situation and what you're going through. I mean, because, God, Cody and I mean, that would be the same for you, Dan and Keats. If you were to go out with Cody, I mean, people get inspired. They come up and they talk to you about the whole situation. Like, and it's kind of great to either have Beeksy tell his story, or even just go down your own road and just tell him how you were inspired by him, because he inspires me daily.
Yep.
It's great.
Well, that's the thing, is that I would only want people to be inspired and to make their own story. That's all I want. I want people to make their own story and to be happy about it. So,
well, hey, man, I think it's been an awesome freaking episode.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, absolutely.
I think we got a good one again.
Yeah, I mean, shout out, like, the reason, if we're doing shout outs, the reason I'm here is because of you guys, right? Like, and then the reason I'm still here is because you guys were including and inclusive to me. And so, yeah,
we're friends with everyone.
Yeah, everyone's,
we like to be buddies.
Pet the bear.
A casual hug with the smooch or something like that. Yeah, we're good.
That's the thing, is that the only reason why we started this podcast is to be with other people who love hockey as much as we do.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to have you guys down at Dog Bowl 10 next week, and
it's going to be
and the
so
energy
much
that's going to be around that situation.
Where's that going to be?
That's going to be down at the Edge in Littleton, Colorado. It's going to be starting Wednesday, July 29th, all the way through Championship Sunday on August 2nd. We don't have spectators, but we're going to be broadcasting all the Platinum games live via Shaw Hockey Productions and you guys on the bench with Beeks. And we're going to have a beer garden out there. We have a lot of square footage so people can spread out. We've got a lot of really good safety precautions in place, trying to keep everybody safe. And we've got TVs out in the beer tents where people can watch the games, the Platinum games and other games from inside. Including the Women's Championship. We're going to have check presentations where we're giving back to people. And so, come join us. We're going to have some food trucks on Fridays and Saturday. And so, again, it's just going to be a great 5 days of giving back and listen to On the Bench with Beeks as they cover a lot of our great hockey stories as well as our human stories.
Can't wait.
Love it.
Not that I want to encourage people to bid against me, but until what date does the auction run, and when is that going on?
I think the auction closes that Saturday night. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's at 6, but don't quote.
Yeah.
I don't want any hey, you said 6, and
I just want to point out the tournament ends Sunday, but the auction ends Saturday.
The auction ends Saturday, and then people start picking up their stuff, Saturday night and Sunday. So
and Dan's gonna be sharking the Sakic jersey.
You bet. Hey, I want you to bid against me. The more money we raise, the better.
Oh yeah.
So. Hey, one quick Jan Heda funny story. So Jan and John Mitchell were kind enough to volunteer for the river rafting trip as a kind of river raft, by the river raft trip with either Jan or John Mitchell.
That's awesome,
right? And so Yanni and I were in the car the other day. He's like, so and I can't do his Czech accent, but he's so damn funny because he's so dry in his sense of humor and so witty.
Yeah,
oh my god,
and it's
so funny.
And it's rafting down the Arkansas River. So he turns to me. We're driving up to to one of our beer sponsor, Catamount Incorporated, get the check for the beer sponsorship, take some photos up there with them, and he says, "So Mike, how we get to Arkansas?" I said, "How do we get to Arkansas? What do you mean, man?" "Yeah, because the river rafting is in Arkansas." I said, "No, it's the Arkansas River." "Yeah, it's here in Colorado."
Goes to Arkansas.
Are we not in Arkansas right now?
Yeah. And he's like, "Are we flying to Arkansas to river raft?" And then I look over at him. He just gives me that funny smile, like he's just messing with me the whole time. So,
that's amazing.
Anyway, a little shout out to Yanni.
We made.
Hey, he's making those chairs.
Yanni.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you right now, that was an incredible episode. I mean, I don't think we've ever gotten as deep as we have tonight, and I think that was incredible. What do you boys think, eh?
Well, since I didn't get it in, I'm going for that Stasny jersey for the Vegas Golden
Oh,
Knights.
the Vegas one.
Keep your hands off that thing.
There's a guy.
Polly Walnuts.
I love me some Polly Walnuts.
I know we've had some serious discussions on like Facebook. There's a lot of people coming after that one, so get ready.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
get
yeah.
ready.
good thing I've
Yeah,
got
get
my money
hard.
saved. Either
Overtime
that or
shifts.
I'm just going to say
Overtime
no.
shifts.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Within a week.
All right. So Daniel, what you want to say?
It's definitely not just the Molson Canadian flowing through me that makes me say how much fun this has been. I'm having a great time, and I'm looking forward to next week. And
Oh, yeah.
Dog Bowl 10 is going to be one for the ages. You guys got to check us out on YouTube. We'll be posting so much stuff there during the time, and also Dawg Nation. Like check out their page for not only the auction going on, but also like we're going to have interviews with pro players, people in the tournament, and everyone in between, including
Recipients.
survivors and recipients. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You guys will definitely enjoy checking it out. So
And even
thanks.
like people that have possibly donated too.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
Keats,
yeah.
what you got there, brother?
I mean, like, absolutely. I can't wait for the Dog Bowl. I'm so excited to interview all these great people and just being a part of this great organization. Other than that, again, like, I want to say big thank you to My Beer Nation for supporting us, getting us the stickers. We got some hats that we're going to be giving away
Yeah,
to
they're
some
going to be
people here,
coming
too.
out here very soon.
So people can look forward to that. And again, YouTube, guys, brand new for us. Please subscribe on YouTube. We're gonna have live videos coming out, and Daniel's been working really hard to to update all the episodes, all the older episodes coming into the new ones where we have the live streams. So please go there and subscribe and just listen to our podcast. This has been so much fun. So.
Also, I'm going to add this in. Do our NHL bracket challenge.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
please.
Let's go head to head.
Yeah. Let's see who you think are gonna win. I mean, obviously you're gonna get some free On the Bench with Beeks stuff if you sign up for the bracket challenge of On the Bench with Beeks. And I've always got to say thank you so much, Mike Freeman, for doing everything that you do and coming and talking with us. And I'm so excited for next weekend. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, My Beer Nation. Dan Williams is always a very incredible contributor. We've got some incredible hats coming down, and you know what? Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. I love it. I love seeing everybody chilling. And one more little shout out. I'm going to say thank you to the Patrick Wild Little Bear.
The Patrick Wow.
the good luck charm is here.
The one that Keats put on the back of his net. So I'm going to say thank you to that. Thank you to my dad. Thank you to Keats' dad. Thank you to everybody. Enjoy. We love you all. Thank you so much.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Till next time, guys.
See you
Thanks so much
guys.
for listening.
Vi hörs.
A biento. Fucking legend, man. That was a banger episode. Hell yeah. Oh, that was so
I
good.
need to edit shit. Just literally put it together and fly it.